Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time doing my first Christmas review for 2022. And this one is on Mickey's Christmas Carol. Now, I remember 1 or 2 years ago, Nostalgia Critic did do his review on Mickey's Christmas Carol. And I also remembered that the short was also on Mickey Mouse Magical Christmas, Snowed In at the House of Mouse, which I did cover years ago, and pretty much due to being a bit more venturous and improving on my work, I wanted to kind of re-watch the short after also watching Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert's past review. So Mickey's Christmas Carol is meant to be a 1983 animated family comedy film that was meant to be based on the sort of old classic Christmas story from 1843, A Christmas Carol. And yeah, it's also meant to feature other characters as the certain role. So we kind of see how on Christmas Eve, we kind of see how the sort of greedy but kind of like cold-hearted Ebenezer Scrooge, played by obviously Scrooge McDuck, is against Christmas. We also kind of see how his underpaid Bob Cratchit, also played by Mickey Mouse, does take his crap like a trooper, and you can kind of tell does want Ebenezer to kind of be a good guy deep down. And we kind of see how, yeah, Ebenezer kind of lets money, also his contempt on life, get the better of him. And we kind of see how he's warned by his partner, Jacob Marley, obviously played by Goofy, to sort of change his ways, as well as kind of realising his mistakes. I think what the short gets right at is being a bit creative with the ghosts, because when you've got the ghost of Christmas Past, played by Jeremy Cricket, I think he really does work as the ghost of Christmas Past. You can tell he's disgusted with Scrooge's actions, and you can tell when Scrooge realises his mistakes, he makes it clear that he did all this to himself. And I think it's like looking at anyone who does make a justifiable point. And I think when you've also got the ghost of Christmas Present, played by Willie the Giant, I think he definitely works as the ghost of Christmas Present, like showing Scrooge kind of realising about his employee's family. You can tell he does kind of show signs of kind of realising his mistakes. And I think when you've got the ghost of Christmas Future, played by the iconic bad guy Pete, you can tell they were trying to go with good-hearted, dumb-hearted, and then evil-hearted. And I think that really does work. And I think they really do well with some of the characters. I know with Isabella being played by Daisy, I know in one of the other foreign dubs, they do change her to being Goldie, Scrooge's old love interest. I think if they kept Goldie in, it would have worked more because, one, we've all seen how in DuckTales and other Disney comics, Goldie was always the one that got away, the one that Scrooge always held his heart closest to. And it really could have showed it being a bit more heartbreaking. I think the show really does nail the kind of realising my mistakes. You can tell he kind of even starts to question his actions. And I think when you do have Scrooge in his bed sort of ashamed of his past actions, I think it's like being older, wiser, and now kind of questioning if you really did the right things years ago. And I think you don't really need an enforced redemption story. You just need a character realising their mistakes and even questioning their actions. I think as well, it's also interesting to kind of see Alan Young, the iconic voice originally for Scrooge, being the voice for Scrooge McDuck. And I think Alan Young was always meant to be Scrooge McDuck until the end of his days. I think when you did have David Tennant playing Scrooge McDuck, slightly young, but still trying to be the voice of reason to the characters. I think the point of Christmas Carol was meant to be a bit of a message, a cautionary tale about Ebenezer Scrooge, about not being greedy, don't take things for granted, as well as kind of realizing not everyone has it easy as you do. And I think, well, yeah, I can definitely see what Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert were trying to say. I personally enjoyed the short. I really think there was a lot of attempts to make the short quick, but still leaving a message there and there. So I think Mickey's Christmas Carol left its early Christmas present, and I think it still deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.